There it is. Hello everybody, I'm Jacob Wolff.
And I'm Christopher Hoisington, and we're here with Brett Woods from brettwoods.com.
And we're at the Wandering Angus and Anthem Cider Room in, what town is this?
Salem.
Salem.
The capital of
We're
Oregon.
outside of Portland today. It's
He's not a native.
I have no idea where I'm at.
But we'll forgive him.
Yeah, here, cheers to being outside of Portland for a little bit, guys.
Yes, thank you for getting us out here.
Yeah, come to Salem. Cheers to that.
Yes.
Hopefully.
So you got your fingers in a whole lot of different things from what I saw on the web page.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us about some of that?
Well, I like art and film. I like to write and direct, and paintings, mostly in oil and acrylic. But I like just making pretty pictures, like moving and, hardcore abstract, chunky stuff to like figurative,
Yeah.
female
like
nude.
playing with the paint.
Basically.
Yeah, I get you. So what would you consider your most focused area that you like to work in?
I don't know. I love paint. Obviously, I mean, I sold my first painting when I was like 13 years old. I sort of found that I can make money through creativity, and that sort of kind of was stuck.
Yeah,
so
You're an entrepreneur?
basically,
From the beginning.
Basically, I remember being in school and little kids would, they'd do the test to see what they would be good at in life, or what they might want to do.
Right.
And I always knew what I wanted to do, and that used to trip out at 7 or 8 years old. People,
Yeah.
Kids would be like, and I was like, well, I like to paint and make movies. So I mean, that was,
What was
it's
the
very
first
visual.
movie that you did?
I did little animations with Star Wars, and I would do the models and animate them blowing up in regular 8mm film. Those are the early ones, and I mean, I grew up with Tom Savini and how he did all the blood effects, and Tom Savini's really big, and so I read his books and did all these little crazy foam rubber hands with chicken bones sticking out of them, and would film those. But that just I would put plaster of Paris on my friends' faces in the yard with straws out of their nose to sculpt their face, to do a foam latex imprint. So, and I loved animation as well, like Tex Avery and Chuck Jones growing up, and I liked imagery, and I like to see the pictures move. So
Yeah.
it's like you can make a movement in a painting, in a still painting, but also for film and stuff like that, you can use color and texture, and it's another medium in which to tell a story. And
Yeah.
You
Do any stage work at all?
I've done some acting here and there.
Yeah, and writing for the stage?
Not like theater, but for screenplays and screenplays.
Yeah, I hear you.
But putting lots of notes together, organizing them into a screenplay format.
No,
I've got a couple screenplay feature films that I want to make. Help! Come to my website.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, Kickstarter. This is a prelude to the Kickstarter that you'll be seeing.
Absolutely. There's you got some stuff on YouTube that people can check out too, right? Or
I have
is
a
that
couple-
linked through the brettwoods.com? or-
Yeah, I got them all on the film little category there.
Yeah, so go brettwoods.com. Make sure you go check that out. See what he's got going on. He's got a lot of photographs of his paintings, and there's also links to clips that you can see of his acting and film making.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Writing.
There's a couple. Like Salome was the one little. You talk about things that I liked or really kind of stood out. That was a project that this lady Alicia Del Rosa from Italy. She's kind of breaking into the States, and she's an actress and does voiceover work. But anyways, her and her husband had bought a painting, and so she knew I did film work. And so she is able to put the money up, and actually I was able to pay people to actually film the Salome project based on Ken Russell and Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fulfilling when you can actually pay people to, to do it, to do the job, because if everyone has a role on set, and they're all sort of picked out, it's created an environment that is contained, sort of like this place, where you can have the right people in place and just let it go.
Yeah.
That's when fun shit happens, because everybody works at no one's there for a reason, and they're all in their element, and that's really fun to see the wheels really
Right. Everybody's there for their purpose, and everybody's clicking and synchronicity and
Yeah, it feels really good.
There's something really magical about entering into an imaginary circumstance with somebody else, you know, and the two of you have your lines across from each other, you know, and when it's really popping, I really like stage acting myself because you're trapped, you know. If things go wrong, you got to fix it, you know. With film, you can edit around that stuff, but man, you know, there's not any other feeling than when you're locked into that imaginary circumstance with another person. It's just an amazing experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some stage stuff, but I mean, there's something about film that's you can get really close with somebody. Really, it's the intimacy of that. I mean, I've seen a couple plays and stuff like that, but I get it. But I always want to zoom right into the close-up. You know what I mean? Like from the balcony, you know, go right into like close-ups of the hands, or you know, go into like especially if it's a really personal scene where you can not have to talk very loud, as opposed to like trying to, you know, it's different. It's like apples and oranges.
I think about like John Wayne when I watch John Wayne act, because he started out way back in the beginning of the time, you know, and then you see his late stuff like what's the name of that one? He plays this modern day detective, and he's car chases and stuff. But
oh, come on,
if you just come up really close to him, you know, and he looks like he's not doing anything, but his eyes are, and all of the feeling is there, and it's just amazing to see, you know, like you're saying, when you get right up and somebody's really feeling the emotion and really in the there ain't no other feeling. Now you're getting me excited.
Yeah, well, there's like, you know, there's certain tricks that actors have, and they can spread it over a whole career and have longevity with just using the tricks that with the eye movements or their, you know, voice inflections. You know, Daniel Day-Lewis is fucking amazing. He's like, you can look like, he's got like that broad spectrum of like what he can do with his face and his physicalities, that becomes a chameleon. And I think that's inevitably what an actor wants to do. I mean, I remember seeing like, I used to like Nicole Kidman a lot.
Yeah.
But I think she sort of used up all, I mean, I love Nicole Kidman, but she sort of used up her drawer of tricks, her bag of tricks. Like I saw her repeating some facial features that she's used in other films, you know what I mean? Okay. That it just seems like it's like some people like Jack Nicholson can do the same thing. I don't know, it's varied, because some people can get a whole career based on one look, and then
a great actor,
then you have to keep on always, I don't know.
A great actor isn't using tricks. A great actor is in that moment, and they'll do it one way, and they, you know, you may get 10 different takes of a completely different matter, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're trying something else. They're trying to live it out as best they can, you know, and that's a hard thing to do when you're in that imaginary circumstance. I always studied acting as living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. You have all the feelings, you have all the experiences of yourself in that imaginary circumstance, right? But it's not real. But you have to treat it as if it were real. And that's not tricks. That's not blinking. That's not, you know,
just being in the moment.
That's just living it out. And then you got to be directed from there, you know?
I was the worst actor in the world. I can't feel fake emotion. It was really hard for me to even try to put myself into somebody else's shoes and try to feel the emotion that they would feel. I was always end up faking it or trying to do it my way, and
it was studying acting for me was very therapeutical.
Yeah.
I had
How long did you study?
12 years.
12 years, and how long have you studied acting?
Oh God, I mean, well, I just like film and art.
Yeah.
I like doing it and making it for forever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you find right projects and stuff like that, like I did in this little short film that these guys from Oxnard back in LA made called Lure, and it's a little dramatic piece, but it was fun to just act and not have to do anything else. Like there was no right. There was just just that one little thing, and you go for it, and right. It's fun to do that. I mean, it's funny what doesn't show up and what winds up and what doesn't.
Oh, I know.
It's kind of like, oh man, they really didn't use that. That was like, I really worked hard on that.
I got cut out of so many movies. It pisses me off. I was doing great work. What? No.
No?
A lot of
So-
more student films, and I was just trying to build a resume.
I did a student film where I was used from like a quick, but we shot like all afternoon. It was like, oh come on, give me more than that. I was good.
If I were to go back to LA and try it again, I don't think I'd take acting classes. I may take one for 6 months just to get my chops. But man, you just get it out there and start.
Dude, okay, so I have to mention this. My sister has on her Facebook the banner across was, what's the actor's name?
Jeff Goldblum.
It's Jeff Goldblum. He's like halfway naked with like a butterfly on the tip of his finger or something. And Christopher sees this and he's like, oh, I took acting classes under Jeff Goldblum. I don't know, it was the weird connection between my sister's obsession with the dude and like you're taking acting classes underneath him.
Yeah. I mean, Jacob and I have known each other for a little over a year now, and he's still learning a lot of stuff from me. There's a lot of stuff in my past that he doesn't know yet.
Well, it's great to have a mentor, somebody that's been so artistic for such a long period of time and studied so many different aspects of art. Like I mean, I've learned stuff literally on a daily basis.
Well, you've inspired me in a lot of ways too.
Teamwork.
Let's take a look
Yay,
at these
teamwork.
paintings. Let's take a look at these paintings.
Okay.
All right. So where did the buffalo come from?
Well, it just ended up being I was doing like a series of black, red, and white sort of motifs. I had like a sort of a hand coming out of Africa in red with black splattered around it on the white, like, in oil. And then I did like a dodo bird in the same sort of motif, and I did a U.S. Sort of just was becoming a series of like black splattered around the sides and a red, cadmium red like image of kind of iconic sort of.
Is that the elephant? Was the elephant part of that too? The elephant drawing on the wall?
The blue one, the blue elephant, or the red one? The red one, I think I did